which sell into own label. So unsurprisingly, manufacturers pulled their budgets and said, we're not going to do that anymore. And then as a result of that, they decided that they would get rid of that entire level of role in stores. As I say, as a consequence, Holland & Barrett, by contrast, they remunerate their employees based on how knowledgeable they are, how much they invest their own time into continuing professional development. They have a very professional training program, and you cannot literally enter or set foot into a store in Holland & Barrett without someone coming up to you in a friendly way and asking if you need some help, you need some advice. Now, when it comes to talking about new products, unless you've got something that is so genuinely new that it leaps off shelf and begs trial, then having that kind of recommendation from store staff, for me, is absolutely key. So there's a shift, I think, to more classically below-the-line kind of spend, because you do need to spend big to try and you get the awareness out there. PR, I would say, rather than advertising, because PR, whilst you're less guaranteed by the messages, is massively still influential in this market. The print market still is very influential, depending on who you're trying to appeal to, but certainly the 40-plus supplements market, the Daily Mail, the Daily Express, the Telegraph, the Times, they still drive your sales with the right story. Again, social media is playing a groundswell of opinion, influencing particularly a younger generation that's more looking after their healthy lifestyle at such more of an earlier age, rather than, as I say, waiting for bits to drop off when in their 40s. They're actually preventing that from an earlier age. But that's really playing out through their own media consumption trends, which is more in social media. So that would probably take a level of my investment. So yeah, a combination of retailer investment with retailers. 1 second, excuse me. And working with them in partnership. So whether it's store staff, whether it's store visibility, shelf visibility, yes, there'll be a requirement for promotion support as well, but for me, it's about the ability to educate who are the people who are walking in front of the store. I think a combination of above the line, but in a sense of social media and PR would probably be where I would go. And unless I wouldn't even follow this. And I don't think this is the case anymore, but when Schiff was bought by Reckitt Benckiser and they launched Mega Red, they spent £5 million on that launch, and they generated, well, the data I saw, it was certainly way less than £1 million of sales at retail value in the first year, and within 2 years they were out of the UK. So I think the old model, probably the big blue chip model of big spends, might still work for toilet duck, but this is very different.
And so, I mean, what happened there? Did they spend the £5 million wrong, or are you suggesting you need to do a slower burn kind of plan?
I think there were two, for me, in my opinion, they were, when they spent it wrong, they did two things really, which probably could have done better. I think one, they launched into, well, in particular, they were a single trick pony in as much as it was krill oil, and krill oil was already established in the UK and starting to reach a level of maturity. So they came into an established category rather than one that was probably still in the ascendancy. And what they launched didn't really add anything to be able to kick it on any further. Two, they put their eggs into one basket, which was Boots. They went in exclusively. It was lovely execution. Brand execution, couldn't fault it. It's everything you'd expect of a big company like that, a big blue chip. But it still wasn't enough to engage sufficient number of shoppers.
It sounds like you would put your bet into the Holland & Barrett instead. It sounds like they're a better retailer.
For me, absolutely. And really, practically speaking, at a buyer level, they are the ones who are engaging, whereas Boots, you may have read the Walgreens recent results pre-Christmas, which is, Boots UK has let us down. There's going to be a lot of pressure coming on that trading team and a lot of more pressure on suppliers. And I don't think their only strategy is come to us with a big bag of cash. I'm even in conversations with them as well, where they just say, look, you want your product to stay on the shelf, you need to give us a big bag of cash, more than we've seen last year. We don't actually care, is what they're saying, about how it performs with our shoppers, or indeed whether it's the right product for them to stock. It's actually...
And what about commerce dynamics? Would there ever be a situation where